What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you at the very least 3 days a week over the digital airwaves of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. I hope everybody had a phenomenal Thanksgiving. Earlier this week, I had the pleasure of talking to my next guest. She's been called the national treasure and the black mother of Hollywood. With over 300 film and television credits, she's best known as outspoken grandmother Ruby Johnson on the hit ABC comedy Blackish. She's joining me to discuss her latest project, the Netflix animated film Spellbound, and more. But I got to tell you something. There's a lot more to her than this upcoming animated film. This woman is something special. She's incredibly candid. And that was before she had a life-altering experience that just has shredded fear from her soul to make her even more candid than she has ever been, more direct and unapologetic than she has ever been, which obviously makes for a very interesting interview. Whether it's about her, it's about the industry, it's about her phenomenal work over the years, it's about Kamala Harris and the latest presidential election, it's about Donald Trump himself or various other things that were on her mind. This woman does not hold back. It is very rare that I find myself a bit transfixed on someone to the point where I actually forget to ask a damn question on some occasions. But that's the kind of effect that she had on me. By the way, in the process of all of that, did I remind you that she is absolutely positively hilarious and fabulous? Because if I didn't, let me tell you, she's fabulous and hilarious. Her name is Jenifer Lewis, and she's here up next, right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Please trust me on this. Don't go away. Okay, everybody, you know what time it is. It's time for Stephen A. Sports Picks. Everybody knows I'm a sports junkie, and if you love watching this show, that probably means you are too. Probably also means you want to be part of all the big-time game action. But how do you solve that exactly? I'll tell you how. You use Prize Picks, the largest daily fantasy sports platform in all the land with over 3 million members. With Prize Picks, you just choose 2, 3, or even up to 6 of your favorite players and then pick more or less on their projected stats for the game or contest. Choose any of the players you love to watch. Matt Stafford, Anthony Edwards, and Travis Hunter, all in the same entry. And if you sign up right now and use code SAS, Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't need to win your lineup to receive the $50 bonus, y'all. It's guaranteed. All you have to do is play a $5 lineup on Prize Picks, and you'll get $50 instantly. Now, let's look at my winning picks. Today, I'll be choosing from some of college football's biggest rivalry games happening this Friday and Saturday. First up, Texas Longhorns signal caller Quinn Ewers facing in-state rival Texas A&M. More or less than 237.5 passing yards. It's Ewers. It's Texas. All right, one of the top-ranked teams in the nation, okay? I'm going with them. I don't like what I've been seeing from Texas A&M from time to time, okay? That's just me. That's how I feel about it, all right? Ewers is a big-time baller, and I know Manning's waiting in the background, had a couple of good starts and all of that stuff. He was coming back and performing the way that he did. There's a lot to be said about that. I respect the brother. I think he'll have a big game against Texas A&M. I think he's going to do his thing. Next up, Georgia Bulldogs quarterback Carson Beck facing the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. More or less than 263.5 passing yards. Now, here's the thing. I think Beck is going to get more than the 263.5 passing yards. What I don't believe is that he's going to have a great game. He makes some mistakes. He's made a lot of mistakes this year. I expected better from him. I know he came back from a 20-0 deficit against Alabama, almost beat them before they ultimately escaped with that victory, right? But I've watched him, okay? I watched him against Texas, all right? You know, listen, they handled their business there. But they got smacked around a couple of times this year. And I still am suspect, especially this Ole Miss. I'm still suspect on him. So, again, he'll have more. I just don't know how good his numbers are going to really equate to when it's all said and done. Finally, one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports. We have Ohio State Buckeyes quarterback Will Howard playing the Michigan Wolverines. More or less than 253.5 passing yards. I'm going to go with more, but it's by default. I'm not liking Michigan this year. They clearly miss Harbaugh. I mean, Moore is not Harbaugh. We get all of that, which will explain why he was crying a little bit when he won that game when Harbaugh was out, being suspended, and he filled in for a game last year or what have you. But it's not that he can't coach. I think the guy's got potential. I think he could do some things at Michigan. But I've been very, very disappointed with what I've seen from them this year. I expected more. I expected better. And that has not been the case. I think Ohio State, this is a big game. Obviously, to me, this game is more about Ryan Day than anybody. Harbaugh's not there any longer. Now, Michigan has smacked you around, the Ohio State, over the last 3 years. What you going to do about it? Ryan Day, you going to go out there and lose to more too? You better not. You better not. Okay? Because as great and exceptional as you are as a head coach, you ain't won a national championship. And by the way, you haven't beaten Michigan in years. People ain't going to go for that now that Harbaugh's gone. Got to handle your business. Got to handle your business. I'm going to go with more on this, but guess what? There's more to the story. Get that? Like that, how I switch that up? That's what I do for Prize Picks all day, every day. My guest has been called a national treasure and the Black mother of Hollywood. With over 300 film and television credits, she's best known as the outspoken grandmother, Ruby Johnson, on a hit ABC comedy Blackish. Her latest project is the Netflix animated film Spellbound. Please welcome the one and only, the incomparable Jenifer Lewis. What an honor and a privilege it is to see you. How are you doing?
How you doing, handsome? I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, especially since I get an opportunity to talk to you. First of all, how is life treating you? I want to know first things. How's life treating you? How's life? How's the working world? How is life? Period. How are things going with you?
I gotta tell you, and I'm gonna be real honest with you. I walk around in a state of bliss now, and it's just simple as that. It took a lot of years to be able to say that. I know a lot of people don't use that word bliss, but that's the kind of work I've done. And I'm real proud of myself for doing it. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder many, many years ago when I was 33. I'm 67 now. And I went and took care of myself. And that's mostly what I'm proud of. And that's why I'm able to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I don't know if you know, I had a horrible accident in the Serengeti in Tanzania 2 years ago.
Yes, I did.
Near to this day. So I've been celebrating my 2-year anniversary. And Stephen, when I tell you the things I learned in recovery, I gotta say the bitch is back. I am walking, talking, laughing, singing, and I can even do my high kick now. That was the goal.
Excuse me.
Get that high kick back, Jenny. You're gonna be all right. It was an insane, it was epic, a saga that could only happen to me and my dramatic ass. I fell 10 feet off the balcony of my hotel into pitch black. Unbeknownst to me, wild animals were surrounding me. My girlfriend, I was able to wake up my traveling partner whose room was, far away, but everybody knows I'm a singer. I'm very loud. I live out loud. And I was able to wake her up. She saw that I was broken on the ground with her flashlight, unable to move. She called the Maasai warriors because they were the only ones that could come down there with the wild animals. They took me back to the main building. Jesus, I was air vac out of the Serengeti to Kenya. I had a 12-hour surgery in Nairobi, 6 days in ICU, and a 2-year recovery. Pampers, wheelchair, walker, cane. And baby, when I tell you I worked into the wee hours of the morning, Stephen, the bitch is back. I don't play that shit.
Okay.
Nobody over 30 is supposed to come back with this injury without a limp. Now, while I was on the ground, the last thing I heard before I passed out, because I've been on safari before, was a lion roar. And my last thought was, what a headline. The king ate the queen. But I didn't.
Thank God that didn't happen.
Killed, and I'm back.
Thank God that didn't happen. The world, you know, your loved ones and everybody else, obviously would have been a devastating loss, but it would have been a devastating loss for the world as well, because you're just that wonderful as far as I'm concerned. I got to ask you, going back to the bipolar disorder that you said that, you know, you were diagnosed with at the age of 33 or so. When you talk about taking care of yourself, could you
Yeah.
educate folks? When you take care of yourself, what does that mean, and how is one to take care of themselves? Because you
Well,
said you
first of
take care of
all,
yourself now.
yes. Well, first of all, we have one weapon in this world. One. We have one job. Self-care. Self-care. The only weapon we have is know thyself. No matter what's going on, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to stand. As Maya Angelou told us, and still I rise. That's what got me up off the massage table, off the floor, out of the wheelchair, and still I rise. But see, because I had done so much work on myself, which was to go to talk therapy and allow myself to medicate, because it took her 5 years to get me to medicate, because I was like, oh, it's going to take away my edge, and my edge is who I am. But that's not true. And one thing I want to say to people who feel that a relative or they themselves have a mental illness where they're depressed and over the top with the mania, go and get help. There are 8 billion people on the planet. Somebody will say yes to you. Somebody will help you. So go and take care of yourself. Once again, journal. That's a huge tool to take care of yourself. Exercise, walk, people, move, because there's so much trash that we eat. And diet is everything. Don't get it twisted. Stop eating all that fried food and carbs, so many carbs. Just
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jenifer. I just ate some wings last night. I'm sorry. You got me feeling guilty about eating the wings.
So did I. I had some wings last night myself. Listen, everything in moderation, baby boy. Everything in moderation,
Yeah.
But yeah, self-care, everybody. Self-care. Come on,
I gotta tell you, I mean, one of a couple of my favorite movies when I think about the brothers, you were in that movie. I think about you with Regina Hall and Kevin Hart and the crew and playing the mother to my man Terrence J. He was, that's my brother right there. I think and I love the scenes where you're with the women. It could be a Gabrielle Union Wade, it could be a Taraji P. Henson, it could be a Megan Good, it could be the list just goes on and on. To see them with you, they defer to your wisdom and your experience. When you're around young ladies, particularly young Black women in this day and age, knowing the challenges that they face in this world today, what are the kind of things that you say to them? And what kind of obligation do you feel to say whatever it is that you choose to say at this moment in time in your life?
Well, first of all, they all come to me. When somebody's acting out, being the mother of Black Hollywood, they called me for Kanye. They called me for anybody that's sinking, that's depressed, that's acting out, that's shooting a gun out in the street, that's depressed and crying in interviews, that's too thin or too big. I sit them down, Stephen. They hear my interviews. They hear how blatant, bold, and honest I am. And they come to me, all of them. I'm telling you, Brandy, Taraji, Queen Latifah.
Yes.
All of them. That's like all of them. They come to me. J-Lo. I sit them down and I tell them what I know. I tell them the elevator to success is broken. Take the stairs. I tell them if you sit in shit too long, it stops smelling. I tell them love yourself so that love will not be a stranger when it comes. I tell them what I know. I tell them to sit still and listen. When you break your body like I did in the Serengeti, when a lion roars in your ear, that loud enough for you, Jenifer? You think you're going to retire and go sit down, drink red wine, smoke cigarettes, and get a high? Is that what you think you're going to do, Jenifer? When I've molded you for 65 years? I'll tell you one thing, Stephen, after the fall, I don't do nothing no more, and my life is of service. Service. What can I do? Where can I go? And who can I help? But I tell people, you take care of yourself first so that your arms are strong when the people you love fall. Yes, I didn't know how not to come back. I didn't know how not to come back from that injury, because the me I had made before I fell got me up. I woke up one night, Stephen, and I was in so much pain because I got off the pain medication. I said, if I can feel it, I can fix it. Let me feel it, because that pain medication shit is a lie. Those opioids, morphine, that's a lie. Morphine's temporary. Oxycodone lies to you and tells you there's no pain. No, baby, let me feel the pain, because it ain't nothing but pain. You ain't gonna die from pain. You see. So I tell them what I know. Why shouldn't I? I got everything I wanted. You know, I always say, baby, I conquered a dream. And I'm rich, bitch, but don't ask me for no money. You gotta love me.
Excuse me, I loved you before I was talking to you. You understand what I'm saying? I've loved you for years. You ain't got to worry about that. The love is going to always be here from me to you. I know who I'm talking to. I got to ask you a sensitive question, though. With all of this positivity that you ooze, particularly emanating from your experiences, how were you feeling when Kamala Harris lost the election?
Well,
I imagine you were, I was told you were a big supporter of hers.
Huge, huge, huge. If only to stop that thing from doing whatever he's planning to do. But I got to tell you something. I told the kids, and still I rise. We know how to fight. It's not new to us. And when I say us, I'm talking about the world. Because here's a song I wrote. We gonna be all right if we stand as the people. We gonna be all right if we trust with the people. We gonna be all right if we rise as one people. And I believed that Kamala Harris would have done that. This thing is divisive, cruel, and evil, insane, narcissistic, and he's a sociopath. But honey, we are the people. And we're not going to allow this dictatorship. I told everybody you can be scared, but we must be unafraid. Now, how do you fight? You go to your city council meetings. You go to your zoning meetings. And you'll know who's raising your rent. Educate yourself, because you're losing your rights. And I'm talking to the Gen Zs and the millennials now. You ain't going to have no pension if you don't fight. You ain't going to have Social Security or health care if you don't fight. So learn how to fight. Listen to smart people. Listen to Steve. Listen to Stacey Abrams. Listen to Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and Maxine Waters. Listen to them. Listen to who knows what roads to take now. Because this Republican Party ain't playing.
Let me ask you this. What about what they've said in terms of Black, particularly Black men and Latinos, supported him more than they have in the past? Why do you think that is? And what do you have to say to Black men and Latinos who were not in favor of supporting Kamala Harris?
Oh, honey. Oh, honey. When your favorite niece and your 13-year-old daughter is raped by your alcoholic brother or the next door neighbor, and she tries to abort that baby inside of her from a rape, you're going to regret that. They want to keep women in their place. It's so disgusting. I can't even put words to them voting for her. They didn't vote for her, didn't vote because she was a woman. They didn't care that she was smart and powerful, educated, beautiful, kind, joyful, fearless. She would have taken care of this country. She would have protected the people. She would have surrounded herself with great minds. But keeping women in their place was more important to them. And Black men, that was just shocking because, honey, he's going to give the military and the police permission to shoot you in your back, and there will be no immunity. So, baby, y'all done fucked up. You took every right from your children. Once again, there will be no social security and pensions and rights. This thing has said you will never have to vote again. He's going to be in charge of the military. We have fucked up. End of story.
You don't think it was a simple situation of looking at the economy, looking at inflation, looking at crime and saying, providing and protect. And as men, that's what we want. And as a result of that, I mean, I voted for her. I wasn't voting for him. But speaking to men who felt differently, they didn't think about Roe v. Wade. They didn't think about stuff. They thought about the economy, money in their pockets, and safety in the streets.
Oh, listen,
it couldn't have been as simple as that.
First of all, do you see women breaking in people's houses? Do you
No.
see women shooting each other in the streets? No. They voted because they voted for Trump because, I hate saying his name. They voted for him because they hate themselves. And they see this thing as powerful, that he's going to move mountains for them and make them rich. And unfortunately, Black men, they want a man. They were saying, I'm voting for the man. Well, we're going to see about that. And don't think we're all not at fault. All of us. We went to our jobs and came home and sat on the sofa and watched movies of destruction. Superman, Batman, the end of this, Armageddon. Well, all of that social consciousness has brought us here. So now, like I said, Lex Luthor is finally in the fucking White House. What are you going to do about it?
So let me transition back to you from this perspective, because despite whatever it is that you feel, and you've articulated it quite eloquently, I might add, in the end, you're saying there's always a silver lining in life, and you got to take care of yourself. And I bring that up because you will receive the 2025 Martin Luther King Jr. Beloved Community Award in January. Tell me what that means to you.
You know, when the president of my alma mater called and asked me to do the commencement speech to send 11,000 students out into the world and wanted to give me an honorary doctorate. When they called me from the White House and said, we want to honor, the Congressional Black Caucus wants to honor you. I've got so many trophies in my house, there's no room for them. But when Dr. Bernice King called me.
Take your time. Take your time.
Wow. I told her, I'm not going to say I don't deserve this award. But there's so many others that do more than me. Well, baby, she sat me down. She said, I've watched you over the years. You've made us think, you've made us laugh. You've comforted many with your wisdom. And she saw me with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America. She said, you have a great testimony. Not many people can pull themselves off the ground of the Serengeti. Oh, my. She said, so you hush now and let us honor you. And I must say to you, Steve, it is the greatest honor of my life to become a part of the King family. Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. I had to bring that up because I knew what I could only imagine what that must mean to you. And you couldn't have put it any better than that. It's well-deserved. Your work has been phenomenal throughout the years. I'm a huge, long time fan. I've been watching you for decades. And I couldn't believe when I read the research and they called you the Black Mother of Hollywood, because that's what I always called you. Even before I do, other people were calling you that. So that's
people
how
ask
I feel
me why
about
I
you.
play everybody's mama. I say, honey, for that
Yeah.
kind of money, I'll play the daddy. I want to say something because I've shown a lot of anger for the results of the election. We're all still processing it.
Yes.
But I do want to say to everybody, to hate the tyrant is to become the tyrant. Stay aligned in your joy. Don't let this take you down so low that you don't recover. Don't stay mad too long. You'll hurt yourself. Just rise up and take care of what's right in front of you. Love your neighbor. Try to stop judging people. Be kind to one another. We'll get through this.
I'm not letting you get out of here without bringing up this Netflix animated film Spellbound, because your voice, Minister Nazara, if I remember correctly, that's going to be your voice in this. I actually did animated film years ago myself. I love this kind of stuff. What is this like for you? And tell me about your role.
You know, she's Minister Nazara, and she's the council of the kingdom of Lumbria. And she keeps the princess focused on everything that's going on. Her parents are monsters, but they have the journey to come back. And, you know, it's not a typical fairy tale. The princess has to realize she can't fix everything. She can't make her parents love each other. And she comes to a profound understanding that she just can't fix everything. And I am her counsel to help her do that. I have a great song written by the great Alan Menken And John Lithgow and I do a tango.
Wow.
And we sing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really proud of this because I'm in cars. I'm doing 13 animations right now in 13 different voices. Everything from Mickey Mouse Funhouse to Rugrats to Big Hero 6.
Right.
And of course, Mama Odie from Princess and the Frog, and Flo from the Cars franchise. So animations mean a lot to me, and I'm able to go in the studio and do a different kind of, the levels and the colors that you have to give to these voices. And it's a challenge for me, but I love doing it. And by the way, Stephen, the movie is really good. It takes you on a journey, very colorful, and it's for the whole family. And I'm not just saying that; it's for the whole family.
Mama Jenifer, I'm going to call you that affectionately, Mama Jenifer. I got news for you. You don't do bad work. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Okay, I know this. I do miss Blackish a lot. Anthony Anderson is a personal friend of mine. I love that brother. I think the cast, I'm a longtime fan of the greatness of Lawrence Fishburne and in terms of his artistry as an actor. I think it was a great cast. I actually thought that the show wasn't going to succeed when I first met Anthony Anderson because of the title. I said, Blackish. I'm worried. I don't know if that's going to, is America going to embrace that? And sure enough, they did. And y'all did y'all thing. Y'all really did.
And Kenya Barris at the helm. It was and
phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Bold. And it was a time in our country and in the world that they needed that education. Yes, we are a part of it all. Yes, we've got something to say. And yes, we did build this country contrary to popular belief. And I always go back to January 6th when I think about Blackish. What they didn't take under consideration was the quality of the windows in the Capitol were not the same quality of the windows in their trailers. They didn't know they were going to have to go get a police barricade made of steel to break those windows while somebody filmed your stupid ass. We built that building. Right. And we built this country.
Jenifer Lewis, it is such an honor. I mean, I really love talking to you. We could talk forever. I'm going to see you soon, hopefully. Can't wait to give you a big hug. Wishing you nothing but the best. So happy to hear that that you're alive and well and thriving and doing what you do. Keep on keeping on. All the best to you, okay? And I hope to run into you in the very near future.
I am a big fan of yours. You tell it like it is.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. And give Anthony Anderson my love and tell him he's an asshole. And I love him more than life. You imagine?
I will make sure to do it.
Wait a minute. Can you imagine working with that fool for 8 years? Oh my God, Stephen, he got on my nerves.
You did it.
But he won my heart, Anthony. So give him a big kiss.
And you know, I'm a fan of Alice Ross too, because she's phenomenal. She did a phenomenal job as well. So let's not forget her.
Insane cast. Insane.
All the best to you. We'll talk soon. You take care of yourself.
Godspeed, love.
Let me just take a second to make sure everyone out there knows I play to win. And if you're anything like us here at the Stephen A. Smith Show, you do too. And that's why we've decided to team up with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members to help turn all your sports knowledge into some big time cash. You see, Prize Picks is a daily fantasy app where you choose just between 2 and 6 players from your favorite sports teams and then pick more or less on their projected stats for the game. You like Brock Purdy? Pick him. You like Wemby? Pick him too. You like Clay? Pick all 3. And get this, with Prize Picks Flex Friday promotion, you can opt in for a protected play. That's right, every Friday. PrizePicks offers a protected play to each of their members, so you win or you cash back. And that's not all. Sign up with code SAS and PrizePicks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't need to win your lineup to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. All you have to do is play a $5 lineup on PrizePicks and you'll get $50 instantly. PrizePicks, pick more, pick less. It's really that easy. Oh, my goodness. My thanks to the one and only Jenifer Lewis. Spellbound is streaming on Netflix, so make sure you check it out. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to continue to enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend. Live it up. Have a good time. Eat as much stuff as you can. Try to be as healthy as you can. Get yourself in the gym. Work out. Take care of your body. What you put in it is what you get out of it, okay? Remember all of that as you march forward and move forward. And again, give hugs and kisses to your loved ones. Let them know you love them. Let them know how much you appreciate them. Let them know how thankful you are to have them in your life, because I'm very, very thankful. Not just to have the people that I have in my life on a personal basis, but to have you as my audience in my life. Nothing about this show would be possible without your love and support. Please don't ever think that I take that for granted for 1 second, because I most certainly don't. Bigger and better things are coming your way down the pike, courtesy of this show. I'm going to see to that. And I'm thankful to all of you for making it happen. On behalf of the staff, on behalf of everybody associated with the Stephen A. Smith Show, yours truly, saying goodbye. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Until then, peace and love, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving weekend.